purposes of, don't turn on the timer.
No.
For purposes of the speech, leopards never stretch. Humans, however. Introduction to the first step of readiness, the bracing sequence. That's the time. It's a long time.
Wow.
I'm glad you didn't give me that. Okay, ready when you are.
Go. Leopards never stretch. They don't work out. They don't do wind sprints. They don't lift weights. Leopards never stretch. They don't have to. They are always ready. Humans, however, are different. We have to be ready. If we are not ready, we die. You have learned situational awareness. Situational awareness is about a mental attitude. It is about mental processes. We're about to learn the bracing sequence, which is a physical attitude and a physical process. There are three reasons for the bracing sequence. The first reason is that it eliminates the danger of damage to your central nervous system. The second reason for the bracing sequence is that it establishes a stable spine, thereby avoiding mechanical compromise when you use your body. And the third reason for it is that it enables efficient, powerful force production. Now those are fancy words taken from this book, which I didn't bring up here, called Becoming a Supple Leopard by Dr. Kelly Starrett, a PhD and physical therapist who runs his own CrossFit training center in San Francisco. Now the thing about the bracing sequence is we're always told in working out you've got to stretch first, you've got to get ready for it, and we're instructed when we lift things to bend at the knees and keep your back straight. We've all had instructions like that, I presume. Well, in the bracing sequence, it takes it one step before. The things you have to do before you bend your knees, before you keep your back straight. And it's called the bracing sequence. So everybody now has to stand up, because I'm going to show you how to do this. Okay, stand with your feet hip width apart, and your feet parallel. Now, they can be out 5 to 10 degrees if that's what you're more comfortable with, but let's start with the feet parallel. The first thing you have to do is tighten up your butt muscles. Really tight. Like this. Just get them. And this accomplishes something very important in the bracing sequence, which is it sets the position of your pelvis underneath your spine. It establishes spinal alignment. When I say that you can prevent, it's flashing green, you have it on the evaluation.
Okay, I have it.
When you establish spinal alignment, you can prevent damage to the central nervous system. By establishing spinal alignment, you can prevent lower back pain. Now, you may not be an athlete. I'm not an athlete. You may not be somebody who's going to go be an Olympic weightlifter or running the 100 sprints and the 100-meter sprints in the Olympics. But nevertheless, you're probably somebody who may be sitting at a desk all day, or climbing into your car, or lifting a baby out of a crib, or taking groceries down off the shelf. You will be doing some physical activity. The bracing sequence, by doing that before you engage in it, will prevent injury. So we've established it by tightening the butt. Keep it tight. Next thing you do is you center your rib cage over the pelvis. Now take a deep breath through your stomach. Feel your stomach expand. And then when you exhale, feel your stomach muscles tighten up. Tighten them up only to about 20%. Now your butt muscles need to be 100% right now. We're going to relax them a little later, but your stomach muscles only need about 20%. And now just take some breaths and feel like you're putting air into a steel tank, so you can feel your stomach just holding it in. Kind of keep that tension in your stomach. Okay? Now the next thing you do, step 4, is shoulders, back, and here, rather than squeeze your shoulder blades together, which a lot of fitness people tell you to do, which is not bad, you want to lower your shoulder blades down towards your waist. That is the bracing sequence. Now, let's relax a little bit. Now, I want you to stand on one leg, but just put the foot down. You know, you're not supposed to be balancing, just foot. Now, tighten up your butt muscles and notice what happens to your right foot. Do you feel it moving sideways? You tighten your butt muscle. It just naturally wants to move sideways. Now when you establish the bracing sequence, keep your knees a little bent. Now, tighten your butt. Feel your feet try to move sideways across the floor, but they can't because of the friction with the floor, right? Now, you can also feel when you do this a little bit of pressure on your knees, pointing them outward. This is a good thing. This is similar to taking your shoulders back and down. Dr. Sterrett calls it screwing your legs into the floor or screwing your shoulders in. This establishes a position with your bones so that they're in a much better position to produce force, whether you're throwing a baseball or lifting weights. Now I'd like you to, do a squat. You tighten your butt, stomach, shoulders, and now let's squat with moving you're screwing your feet into the floor, and your knees pressing outward, and your butt sitting back. Back straight. Now you can go, but I've noticed here, which I didn't used to be able to do, I can go down all the way with this. And when I come up, I do so without any knee strain whatsoever. That is the bracing sequence. If you make the bracing sequence a part of your life, just doing it routinely, if you're sitting at a desk all day, get up every half an hour, shake yourself out, do the bracing sequence, and sit down. One last thing I want to show you with the bracing sequence is your hands. In order to measure, it's called the two-hand rule. In order to establish whether or not you've got it right, put one hand at your pelvis, level with the floor, and the other hand up here. If you can see, if the hands are parallel, then you've got it right. But if you're slouched, the hands won't be parallel. If you're overextended in your back, the hands won't be parallel. So if you've got it right, tighten your butt, get it up, hands will be parallel. You can do this, you don't have to be standing, you can be sitting when you're doing this. Figure out, okay, tighten your butt, get it all set up, and then are you straight or not? You can even lean back into it. Just being aware of having your whole body set up in a bracing sequence so you are ready for your next action. Mr. Toastmaster.